Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Shackle 5858. I am Amish Shackle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please, let's go to the headlines.
World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the breaking news as we come on the air, one of President Trump's top counterterrorism officials resigns, saying Iran posed no imminent threat. Also tonight, hear the explosive boom, the stunning sight tonight seen in several states, the 7-ton meteor, and you'll see it. Tonight, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center resigning, claiming Iran posed no imminent threat to the U.S. Tonight, President Trump responds. Also tonight, hear the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad coming under fire again. James Longman in Iraq. And just in tonight, the images, Israeli strikes now hitting Iranian police right in the streets of Tehran. After the major news today that an Israeli strike has killed one of Iran's most powerful surviving leaders. Here in the U.S. tonight, that 7-ton meteor shooting across the sky.
Oh, what the was that?
The sonic boom heard over multiple states, 6 feet in diameter. The images tonight digging out the major storm across several states and the dangerous winds in the Northeast. Hundreds of thousands without power at this hour. Thousands of flights canceled and delayed. Here in New York City, the winds fueling a major fire in Manhattan. Reports of injuries just as the annual St. Patrick's Day parade was set to begin. Tonight, the wife and mother who wrote a children's book about grief after the death of her husband now found guilty of killing him. How prosecutors say she did it. The collision on the tracks, an Amtrak train filled with passengers and an 18-wheeler. Tonight, just days before March Madness, a star player now under arrest. Tonight, one of the world's most elusive artists, hidden no longer, has Banksy been revealed. Also tonight, a former Syracuse University quarterback dies at just 28 years old. And tributes tonight to the longtime co-host of Showtime at the Apollo.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News.
On this Tuesday, U.S. counterterrorism chief suddenly quits. Why he's saying the war on Iran was not necessary.
It's a good thing that he's out.
Israel's killed 2 more top-ranking members of Iran's regime, as the U.S. is warned about deploying troops to Iran.
They think that they can do whatever they want.
Power struggle, the severe storm that's left hundreds of thousands of Quebecers without electricity. Plus, he's a putt above the rest.
Has never taken a lesson in his life.
The self-taught Canadian golfer who swung his way up to the PGA Tour.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. A top Trump administration official has resigned over the war in Iran, saying he cannot support it.
Alert! President Trump going nuclear on NATO, metaphorically speaking, after they rebuffed his request to send some warships and secure the Strait of Hormuz. But he didn't need their stinking help anyways.
We don't need any help, actually. In fact, we just put out a notice. I was watching over the last couple of weeks, and our NATO allies were very much in favor of what we did. They thought it was very important. We were just discussing it, actually. Very important that we take out the nuclear threat from Iran, and we've done that very strongly, very powerfully. So everyone agrees with us, but they don't want to help. And we as the United States have to remember that, because we think it's pretty shocking. I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake.
The IDF confirming that a top Iranian official who was openly taunting America just days ago got killed in an overnight strike. The president lamenting that everything's gone.
Everything is gone. Their leaders are gone. I guess one of their top person was, they say, a lot of people say their actual top was killed yesterday. along with somebody else, who was responsible for the killing, the man that was responsible for the killing of 32,000 people over the last 2 weeks. He was in charge of the killing of protesters. It's an evil group.
Meanwhile, President Trump has Washington playing a guessing game after claiming that a former American president told him he wished he had taken action against Iran while he was in office. Was it George W. Bush?
No.
Was it Bill Clinton?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say. Because a member of a party, they have Trump derangement syndrome, but somebody that happens to like me.
All right, JJJ. NATO rebuffs Trump. Should we bomb NATO?
No, probably not. I'd like to hang on to our bomb.
This is Sky News Status. Scotland's assisted dying bill has failed to pass in the final vote, with MSPs rejecting it by 12 votes. A blow for Donald Trump. His senior counter-terrorism official quits over the war, saying Iran posed no immediate threat and blaming Israel instead. We report from inside a hospital in Tehran, overwhelmed with the injured, and we hear from a mother who is demanding answers.
Why did this happen to us, to innocent people, my innocent 4-year-old girl? They've taken away our safety, our happiness, and the health of our children.
A big mistake. The US president criticises Sir Keir Starmer again over Britain's response to the war. But Volodymyr Zelensky thanks the UK for its support for Ukraine and urges the world not to be distracted by Iran. Also ahead, reports of panic buying of vaccines as the Health Secretary says the meningitis outbreak in Kent is unprecedented. The Scottish Parliament has rejected an assisted dying bill, with MSPs voting.
And up for the Expanse podcast on ABC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.
Today, tropical cyclone Narelle forecast to intensify to a Category 5 before crossing the final Queensland coast on Friday. An Iranian projectile hits an area near Australia's Al Minhad Joint Air Base in the United Arab Emirates, where Australian soldiers are stationed.
No Australian personnel were injured and everyone is absolutely safe.
The High Court rules the use of ankle bracelets and curfews for people released from immigration detention is unlawful.
The Matildas are the first team to book their spot.
And the Matildas into Saturday's Asian Cup final after defeating China 2-1 in Perth. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Rose Childs. Tropical cyclone Narelle is expected to reach Category.
This is Asia First.
Good morning, I'm Julie Yu. The headlines this hour. Iran confirms the deaths of two of its most powerful figures, security chief Ali Larijani and Ghulam Reza Soleimani, the head of the paramilitary force. The foreign minister Abbas Araghchi says the killings won't really shake the system, while the Revolutionary Guards vow revenge. Israel says its campaign is creating conditions for possible regime change in Iran. I'm Elizabeth Muir. A Trump-appointed counter-terrorism official resigns. Joe Kent is contradicting the administration's basis for launching the war in Iran and is imploring an end to it as the American president hits out at global allies for rebuffing his calls to join in the military operation.
I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake, and I
Donald Trump going on to say he doesn't need their assistance, even though he's repeatedly pressed the military as well as some Asian nations to help their was transit point for oil and other goods.
And of these energy infrastructure targeting oil and gas production facilities for the first time. Operations at a natural gas field, one of the largest in the world, remain suspended as officials assess damage. Oil prices keep rising amid concerns over prolonged supply disruptions. Iran's parliament speaker says shipping through the Strait of Hormuz will not return to its pre-war conditions.
And rescue workers try to recover bodies and survivors from a clinic in Kabul as Afghan Taliban officials say hundreds were killed in a Pakistani strike. Islamabad denies the allegations, while the UN seeks an probe.
Iran is going to Israeli attacks.
Ali Larijani was the country's security chief, and Gholam Reza Soleimani was the commander of the internal Basij militia.
Little challenges sign of transparency and two of the best knowledge of Salisa have been in jail for nearly a decade. The internet was shut down across the country as usual during the presidential election, and traffic was restricted across the capital. The Interior Minister reported a turnout of 84.65% and 2.6 million ballots cast. A constitutional referendum that in age limits allowing Sassou Nguesso to run again. The country is struggling with a high international debt, which stands at 94.5% of its gross domestic product, according to the World Bank, and skyrocketing unemployment rate for young.
Mozambique's military is under scrutiny after troops reportedly opened fire on fishermen in the country's conflict-hit north, killing at least 13 people. The incident happened over the weekend in Cabo Delgado province, an area where security forces are battling an Islamic State-linked insurgency. Local sources say Navy forces targeted fishing Sunday. So far, projects. Total Energy's only recently restarted its massive gas project there after it was suspended following a deadly attack in 2021. While large-scale attacks like that haven't returned, smaller assaults along with killings and kidnappings continue to destabilize the region.
2 men hit ordinary quarterly chunk.
Policy Management Act. This is a contrary to section 95C of the Act, which without a permit, that is, which carries a sentence of a minimum of 1 million Kenya shillings or imprisonment for a minimum of 12 months, or both the fine and the jail term. They have also
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. Iran has confirmed that its powerful national security chief, Ali Larijani, has been killed in an Israeli strike. Iranian state media also confirmed the killing of Gholam Reza Soleimani, the head of the Revolutionary Guard's all-volunteer Basij force. Both men were key to the regime's deadly crackdown on protests in January.
We don't need help.
President Donald Trump says the U.S. no longer needs the help of its allies. For them to Trump called the decision, quote, disappointing and bad for the partnership. The U.S. top counterterrorism official has resigned in protest over the war in Iran. In a social media post, Joe said he cannot back the war, which the U.S. started due to pressure from Israel. Kent is the first senior member of President Trump's administration to resign over in Iran.
Welcome to Night Watch on France 24. I'm Charlotte Lamb, and these are your top stories. A decisive and regrettable response, Iran's army vows revenge after the killing of National Security Chief Ali Larijani. Larijani, widely seen as Iran's de facto ruler since the death of wanted in Israeli airstrike, marking another major blow to Tehran's leadership. Lebanese authorities say 2 Israeli strikes on central Beirut have killed at least 6 people as raids hit Hezbollah strongholds in the southern suburbs. Across the country, more than 1 million people have now been
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.